Hi, it's Russ Adler from Lawyer Better Consulting, and I'm here to tell you about my most memorable case as a trial lawyer over 27 years. It wasn't my biggest case. It wasn't my biggest recovery, maybe not even my most exciting case. But as a lifelong scuba diver and 50-year resident of the state of Florida, it happened in my favorite place, my happy place, the Florida Keys. For those not familiar, the Keys is an island chain at the southern tip of Florida, extending from Key Largo to the north to Key West to the south, with hundreds of miles of one roadway and lots of bridges. And also, as you can see from this map, lots of great diving spots. I was all over the Keys. The case happened on Islamorada in the middle of the Keys at a place called Woody's, a bar, strip joint, and restaurant. That was a legendary spot because of its house band, Big Dick and the Extenders. Woody's didn't look like much from the outside, but it was an iconic place in the Keys that everyone seemed to know about. So the case begins while my client is sitting at the bar, shown here in white silhouette, having a drink, chilling, listening to the band, and watching the strippers, of course. And everything was cool. Big Dick was on stage, doing his usual routine. Insult comedy, introducing the strippers, and playing the musical backdrop to their stripping. The problem started when two drunk fishermen, father and son, from outside of the Keys, who were down there fishing, showed up at Woody's, looking for a good time, but apparently some trouble as well. The younger son of the two drunk fishermen goes up on stage and threatens to beat up Big Dick. Big Dick later testified in his deposition that, quote, he threatened me. He said he was going to whip my ass, and I said, no, you're not going to whip my ass. He was asked, was his speech slurred? Of course it was slurred. He was drunk. Were his eyes bloodshot? Yup. And then the son of the drunk fisherman gets up on stage with the strippers and starts grabbing at them. And at that point, they were thrown out of Woody's into the parking lot. Unfortunately, and timing being everything in life, my client decided to leave Woody's at that moment, where he confronts the drunk fisherman who beat his ass. And he ends up on the ground. Now, fortunately, at that point, the sheriff's office had been called, and they arrived within a few seconds to find the two drunk fishermen and my client laying on the ground. And when they looked at my client, he looked familiar, because I forgot to mention, he was also an employee of the sheriff's office. So needless to say, the two fishermen were arrested, taken into custody, and taken to the jail, where they were charged with felony battery. And I was hired to file a lawsuit for negligent security. And so for the next 2 years or so, I took lots of trips to the Keys to take depositions, go to hearings, and of course, go scuba diving. The negligent security part of the case was because there was a security guy working at Woody's that night, but he was also the short order cook. And he was in the kitchen while my client was getting beaten up in the parking lot. The case eventually settled, so there was a happy ending for my client and also for me, and it allowed me to return to my usual activity in the Keys, scuba diving and chasing lobsters. So that concludes the story about my most memorable case. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.